Bolsonaro, the senator for Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and a great friend of Israel, Senator
Thank you, Minister Amihai Shikli. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you so much for your words yesterday. May God make them real in a very close future. Ladies and gentlemen, authorities, representatives of free nations, friends of Israel, Brazilian Jewish community, Brazil and Israel share a long and honorable history. In 1947, a Brazilian diplomat, Oswaldo Aranha, led the United Nations General Assembly and helped make possible the vote that created the State of Israel. Brazil recognized Israel soon after its independence. For many decades, our countries worked together as democratic nations in diplomacy, farming, technology, security, and innovation. This friendship was based on shared values, freedom, democracy, and respect for life. This historic bond was clearly defended under President Jair Bolsonaro. As president, Bolsonaro left no doubt he stood with Israel in international forums. He made cooperation between our countries stronger. And he made one thing very clear. Brazil stood with Israel against terrorism, with no excuses and no double standards. Sadly, this legacy was broken. Today, anti-Semitism is not a small issue. It's not only part of history. It's a real and growing global threat. History teaches us that anti-Semitism rarely shows its face clearly. It changes, it hides, it uses new words. Today, it often calls itself anti-Zionism, but the goal is the same: to deny the Jewish people what every other nation has, the right to have their own state, dignity, and security. There is only one Jewish state in the world. To deny its right to exist is not political debate, it's discrimination. The attacks of October 7th showed this truth very, very clear. The world saw barbarism live, and yet in many places there was no anger, there was no support, there was silence, and in some cases, support for terror. Sadly, Brazil became one of those cases. Under President Lula, Brazil's policy suffered a deep moral failure. Let me be very clear. Lula is anti-Semitic. This is not a slogan. This is not exaggeration. This is based on his ideas, his advisors, his words, and his actions. The main designer of Lula's international policy, his top advisor, Celso Amorim, wrote the preface of a book that praises Hamas and presents it as a normal political group. Hamas is not a resistance group. Hamas is a terrorist organization, the same group that killed innocent Israeli families on October 7th. This shows that what we see today is not an accident. It's not a mistake. It's an ideology. And this ideology does not stay on paper. it becomes government action. In early 2023, the Brazilian government allowed Iranian warships from a regime that openly calls for the destruction of Israel to enter a Brazilian port. After the Hamas massacre of October 7th, while Israel was still mourning its dead, Lula rushed to accuse Israel of acting in a violent and unfair way. When Brazil's citizens left Gaza in November 2023, Lula used that moment not to condemn Hamas, but to attack Israel. From 2023 on, Brazil voted again and again against Israel at the United Nations and other international bodies. In February 2024, Lula crossed a moral line by comparing Israel's actions to the Holocaust, an anti-Semitic statement that insulted the Jewish people and minimized the worst crime in history. Brazil then called back its ambassador from Israel, stopped military cooperation with Israeli companies, supported false genocide claims against Israel in international courts, and refused to approve a new Israel ambassador. These are no single mistakes. They form a clear and intentional partner. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak today not only as a senator, but as a candidate for president of Brazil. Thank you. My father, Jair Bolsonaro, is today in prison because of political persecution, not justice. But ideas cannot be locked away, and truth cannot be silenced. I'm running for president because Brazil needs a moral and strategic reset. In this new moment for Latin America, the United States, together with responsible democracies, has helped build a new model of international cooperation. We already have real examples of this new path. The Isaac Accords, led by the great Argentine president Javier Milei, are a historic step forward. They strengthen diplomatic, economic, and institutional ties between Israel and Latin America democracies. And let me say this clearly, here and before history. If it depends on me, Brazil will officially sign the Isaac Accords in January 2027. We must also recognize the strong cooperation between United States and Paraguay in the fights against terrorism and drug crime in the three-border region, an area long used to fund extremist groups. This shows a basic truth. To fight terrorism, we need countries working together, shared intelligence, and moral clarity. Brazil cannot stay silent. Brazil must choose a side. In this global fight, Israel stands on the front line of democracy against barbarism. Let this be said clearly. Brazil must stand with Israel, with the Jewish people, with democracies that fight terror without excuse. History is watching, and history does not forgive those who stay silent. God will, the next Brazilian president will not be persona non grata in Israel. May God bless Israel. May God bless Brazil. Toda Rabá.
Senator, you inspire us. And before we continue, I want to give you just a little peek into what is still waiting for you today at the
Count
conference.
on me always.
A speech from U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee and a one-on-one.
بسم الله بسم الله فاتحين
O 7 de outubro
foi o maior ataque terrorista no território israelense.
Hoje está sendo um dia muito impactante para a gente aqui em Israel, porque estamos aqui no local onde ocorreu aquele massacre na Festa Nova, em que os terroristas invadiram uma festa de jovens. Foram mais de 1.800 pessoas mortas naquele momento, somadas a quem foi sequestrado e a quem os corpos que foram levados também para depois servirem como moeda de troca. Os terroristas passou de 2.000 pessoas. E eu tinha vindo já, Duda, outras vezes e conhecido o Museu do Holocausto. Você sempre sai do Museu do Holocausto, foi agora de novo, com a sensação de indignação, com tristeza. E eu levei minhas filhas dessa vez, que são menores, 13 e 11 anos, para verem com os próprios olhos a que nível pode chegar a maldade de um monstro, que não dá nem para chamar de ser humano, quando está com um demônio, né? Não tem outra explicação, e fazer o que Hitler fez. E hoje, ao assistir alguns vídeos que foram mostrados para nós, inclusive quase exclusividade, eles disseram que esse vídeo com as imagens das próprias câmeras dos terroristas, em que foram recuperadas as imagens, só haviam sido mostradas para o Donald Trump quando ele veio aqui. E é muito impactante, e de novo hoje eu fico com a mesma sensação de quando eu saio do Museu do Holocausto. Como é que pode existir pessoas com tanta maldade e a todo momento evocando o nome de Deus, como se estivessem fazendo aquilo em nome de Deus, algo bom que eles acreditassem. E aqui nesse local agora, que vocês estão vendo, são os veículos que foram encontrados depois do massacre, né, que foram reunidos aqui. Foram mais de 1.600, aqui nesse local tem mais de 1.650 veículos das vítimas desses terroristas na Festa Nova. Então aqui é uma ambulância onde eles encontraram mais de 18 restos mortais de pessoas, veículos todos fuzilados, queimados. Imagina, aqui a gente tem uma dimensão da quantidade de pessoas que existiam naquela festa. Mais uma vez, 1.650 veículos empilhados aqui. Esses que vocês veem estão queimados. Tem mais, vai até o final, você perde de vista. Isso aqui é um memorial para que eles sintam aí, para que exista uma dimensão, uma real dimensão do genocídio que aconteceu aqui. E a gente ainda vê um presidente do Brasil defender esse tipo de terrorista. Países que são dominados por essas pessoas, ele defendendo a soberania desses países, inclusive. Então é muito triste saber que hoje, sentado na cadeira de presidente da República no nosso país, tem alguém que simplesmente ou dá apoio ou é indiferente, ou vira as costas para o sofrimento de tantas pessoas aqui que esse memorial retratam que foram vítimas dos terroristas. E eles não matavam só quem era judeu, eles matavam qualquer coisa que se movimentasse. Eles não sabiam, óbvio que grande parte eram pessoas judias, mas podia ter muçulmano no meio, podia ter gente que não tem nada a ver com nada, todos ali, ninguém tinha nada a ver com guerra de nada. Uma coisa é quando você tem um confronto entre militares, né? Quem está servindo a uma força armada sabe que isso pode acontecer, do outro lado tem um inimigo, mas pessoas inocentes, não tem absolutamente nada a ver com nada. E a covardia é tão grande que a gente chegava a ver, até nas imagens, os terroristas fuzilando cachorro que latia na direção deles, eles fuzilavam mulheres, crianças. E qual foi a estratégia? Eles jogaram mísseis no local da festa, e aqui a reação normal de quem está aqui acostumado com isso é se abrigar em bunkers, e já estava toda a estratégia pronta. Eles jogavam os mísseis, as pessoas corriam para os bunkers, ou seja, ficavam ali aglutinadas num só lugar, né? E aí depois eles vinham com granadas, explodiam as pessoas dentro dos bunkers, fuzilavam as pessoas. Quem tentava fugir do bunker era fuzilado também. Então esses carros aqui, grande parte deles ele era parado a tiros. Então a pessoa estava dirigindo para sair da festa, voltar para casa, ou fugir. Aqui, ó, vocês podem ver, tiro, carros fuzilados, as pessoas aqui retratadas aqui, por exemplo, nesse carro. Então de verdade, o Brasil precisa voltar a ter na cadeira de presidente da República alguém que seja sensível a isso, alguém que não concorde com isso, e alguém que apoie sim a luta pelo direito de existência do Estado de Israel, pelo direito de defesa do povo judeu. E aqui um memorial muito triste do que... Aqui, ó. Isso aqui tá contando pra gente que é um veículo de um terrorista. Você vê que ali em cima tem um suporte, provavelmente para alguma metralhadora, né?
This is a 50 caliber machine gun placement.
50.50. Uma ponto 50.
It's a weapon for against any international law. And as you saw in the videos, these are the pickup trucks that circled the roundabouts of Sderot. You've seen it in the video. These are the footage that all Israelis were waking up to. On each and every vehicle of this, like this one, there were 10, 12, 14 terrorists on top. And they shot people indiscriminately, women,
Qualquer
children.
coisa que se movimentasse, eles estavam atirando, né? Não sabia se era
And then-
judeu, se era muçulmano, não era nada.
Hamas leaders
Tinha
said that
vida,
they
tava
didn't
atirando.
target civilians. And here's the
Oh, they didn't?
They
said?
said that they didn't target civilians. Obviously, we found this is a Dodge Ram. It's an American-made Dodge Ram. Think
There is
about how this Dodge Ram found its way to Gaza. It's an American-made. All of those vehicles were smuggled through the tunnels from Rafah in Egypt to the Gaza side of Rafah. And that's why we had to go to Rafah in order to make sure that we are cutting the oxygen of terror for Hamas and the Palestinians. But all of these, you can see this in the back.
Tipo escudo, né? Um escudo ali de blindado,
There's
né?
like an armor shield. So this is the copycat of the ISIS vehicles that we've seen in Iraq and Syria. It's a copycat of ISIS vehicles that we've seen in Iraq and Syria. That's what they targeted Israeli civilians with. These vehicles.
Eles atacavam os civis com desses veículos aqui.
And motorcycles. In the back, we have about 200 of those. You've seen how they came with the motorcycles in the videos. So we have the capture just a few of those.
And was brutally murdered with knives and so it's not just Jews. Obviously, it was aimed first and foremost against Jews, but not only Jews. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here, time and time again. And Flavio Eduardo, I think you are very unique in your support and in your warm heart. Your father is not with us here, but I want to thank your father, Jair, and we feel the pain of what is happening in Brazil. We are very, it's very sad for us to see what's happening in Brazil with the Hamas supporters such as Lola. This is a disgrace. And this is not Brazil.
Yes.
And this is not Brazil. You are Brazil.
Yes.
Good people. When you saw the video now, you were saying why they're saying Allah. Why they're saying Allah? Why? How can you kill these innocent people and shout God? What do you mean? What is this a religion?
No.
Is this a religion? So I think we are a people of faith. We believe in God, and when you believe in God, you never act like this, and you never encourage and support this kind of action. So I think if we will be very honest for a moment, that the big problem with Lola, forget the fact his role and he forgot about God. That is the big problem with Lola.
Yes.
He forgot about God. And we are people of faith, the Brazilian people, the Jewish people. We believe in God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister.
So anytime you stop me, you want your